go again.
Where do we get the Bible from? Did you even read the canons? There is only one church, you are in a cult. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. You're so mean, I'm your dude. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Shady, I need a ginger Jew. Can't take it, these low tier slow boys. I'm your dude. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Icons are idolatry. Why do you pray to dead people? That's the traditions of men, you heretic. Wow, 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 wow. I'm your dude. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Shady, I need a ginger Jew. Can't take it, these low tier slow boys. I'm your dude. What's your epistemic justification? That argument is circular, and you are refuted.
They want you to eat bugs.
I'm Nicole Kidman, and I am going to eat a 4-course meal of bugs.
Global energy systems, food systems, and supply chain.
You'll give up your ribeye for a plate of mealworms.
More sustainable economy, climate change, and leading to an extinction.
Mealworms.
Eat bugs.
I want McDonald's to sell beef McCricket.
Have you had your daily helping of cockroaches?
Nobody forces people to eat insects.
Mealworms.
Bugs for dinner.
The company is called Insect. This is an insect protein just been approved by the EU.
We must continue to fight against the global pandemic. We must revitalize the global economy. We must preserve biodiversity by deploying nature-based solutions.
You will eat the bugs, you will live in the pot, you will wear the mask, you will get the vaccine, you will welcome the refugee, you will celebrate Pride Year, you will watch the Hollywood movies, you will celebrate diversity, you will watch the pornography, and you will be happy. Eat the bugs.
Mealworms. Mealworms. You'll give up your ribeye for a plate of mealworms. Mealworms.
Hey piggy, hey piggy, don't make me go back to that 9 to 5. Wage cut ain't no way to be alive. Don't make me go back to 9 to 5. Wage cut ain't no way to be alive. Ooh, hey piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one. Ooh.
When I'm with my boo, one of one miss two, then it mix free. Yeah, we had the baby. She want Versace, she want Gucci. Gotta lay down all my bands on the Lambo, cause she don't like my Volvo, no, no. Yeah, she got a diamond grill on her baby teeth. Coolest kid in nursery, but you know, I'm not a materialist, an idealist. I flow with the transcendental argument. Reading Wittgenstein, investigate my girl philosophically. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? I just want the money.
Hey Piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey Piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey Piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey Piggy,
Yeah,
just give me one.
yeah,
Ooh.
straight up, I'm simply for you, girl. I want my heart, want you in my world. I see you in the super chat, I see you wanna go from me. I see you on the OnlyFans and you got my heart in your hand. Please don't crush it, girl, understand that I'm a simp, but I'm proud. I'm a geek, but I'm proud. And I wanna feel your breasts at a convention. I want my picture of you groping my ass to be on social media. I want my friends to see it on Discord. I'm gonna upload it to my subreddit and they all gonna see it. My friends, they gonna like it, they gonna retweet it. But I think that it's gonna be the greatest moment of my life, and I want you to be a part of it, girl. Yeah.
Don't make me go back to that 9 to 5. Wage clock ain't no way to be alive. Don't make me go back to 9 to 5. Wage clock ain't no way to be alive. Ooh, hey Piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey Piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey Piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey Piggy, just give me one. Ooh, hey Piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey Piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey Piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey Piggy, just give me one. Ooh.
I can't hear ya. Let me hear you say it.
Shonak on the beat.
Girl, why you backbiting, whispering, DMing, and talking, texting? I don't like that. It hurts my feelings.
Girl, you always out there just straight gossiping. Why you wanna do it when I got you bling? Girl, you just out there just straight up gossiping. Always out there in the streets just gossiping. Texting, 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 doing nasty things. All you wanna do is just straight gossiping. Girl, why you wanna gossip? I took you on that trip. I gave you all that stuff, all that junk. And you just wanna gossip. Hurt my feelings, girl. Why you wanna do that to me? When I got you all those things. Got you all those things. Got you all the things. Gossiping. Why you wanna hurt me with your gossiping? Backbiting ain't nothing to all of me.
Oh, yeah. What's up? Welcome, everybody. This is my beautiful channel right here. This is my 1998 Cool Guy Preppy shirt. Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my color, popping my color, popping my color. Ever since I can remember, I've been beep, these beep. And they better put their money in my hand. What's up? Gossiping. Why you always at the street of gossiping? Hopefully you are celebrating with me today. Welcome everybody. Today is International Bling Day, aka Bitcoin. The B stands for bling, bling coin. Where we at? Oh, nice little ticker moves there. I like those numbers. Hey, digits. Hey, what's up, digits? Hey, you looking good over there. You come over here a lot. Hey, digits, could I get your digits? I'm asking digits for the digits, so I could call up the digits using digits. Y'all get it? Gossiping. Maybe we'll hit it during my live stream. I'll legit have... I went to the outlet. I'll be shopping at the outlet mall. I went up in the outlet mall and they had a polo shirt like I had in 1997, dog. I had to get it. It's 2024. Almost 25. I said I want that 1997 polo so I can pop my collar. Come on, up, number, go up. This is the Trump pump right here. Have you seen this Bitcoin? These numbers are going up. Probably they're going up a lot more. I don't know if you believe in the Bitcoin numbers. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. I don't think they can count very far. Do you think they can count? Probably they can't. Maybe they can do the times tables. Maybe they can do the numerals. Maybe they can count. Maybe they can't count. I don't know. Kamala Harris, she was using Kabbalah to bring about dead spirits to come and vote, probably. I don't know if you've heard of this. Maybe you have, maybe you have. It's going to be wonderful, though, when these numbers go much higher. Probably the best numbers we've seen. I don't know my favorite numbers are the numbers that Bitcoin is. Maybe, probably you've seen these numbers. Can you count this high? I don't know. Maybe you can. Anyway, what's up? Heretic. Let's change the topic to what the topic actually is. Heretic. Y'all seen this movie? Y'all seen this movie? By the way, I think my Trump is pretty good. I've got it a lot better. I did my Trump impression on Instagram. And our buddy Damien Slash, shout out to Damien. He's been killing it. Where's Damien at? We've been DMing. We need to do some kind of we need a collab. He's funny, dude. Damien is a funny dude. And he's done some good. I thought this one was pretty funny.
Stand down your protest, get back to work, and pay your taxes. If you don't, you will face the full consequences of the law and the government. And I fully back Keir Starmer's mission to make you pay your taxes once and for all. You're not special. And those of us in the city, we know that we don't actually need gammon and russet potatoes. We're into new contemporary sustainable alternatives that you simply aren't providing. So you don't have the power in this situation. This is not a fight you can win. Your male, pale and stale grip on the countryside and our food supply has to come to an end. And now's the time. I mean, is this not the way we all feel? I mean, the potatoes that the white man produces are just bland. There's no diversity. There's no ethnicity to these potatoes. And I'm fully on board with Damien's program of sensible, high taxes for wholesome middle-class families. That's the plan we all need to get behind. I don't see... Let's see. This one was pretty funny. He's got a crypto story that beats my crypto story. It's worse than my story. Anyway, Damien's funny guy. We've been. He thought my Trump impression was good. So shout out to Damien. We got to figure out some way to collab or do an interview or something. He's a funny guy. What are we talking about? Pay Piggy? No, we're not talking about that. By the way, if you do want to support the stream, if you would like to enter into the hallowed elite status of being a Pay Piggy over here, you can do so by the Streamlabs link. Streamlabs are the way that you support this live stream if you enjoy it. Of course, we made our bones. We made our bones over here on the internet with movie analysis. Esoteric Hollywood. You ever heard of that? Probably one of the best books that are out there, really, if you think about books. Have you seen this? This Esoteric Hollywood is probably the best. Wonderful book, really. We all got to be getting over there and getting them copies because part 3 is on its way. I worked on it yesterday. What did I work on yesterday? Control V. I worked on Black Cat, Marnie, Hitchcock, dissociation films. Interesting.
I'm in the chapter now called Hollywood, Horror, Trauma, and Alchemy. So we're going to be investigating a lot of deep, dark, esoteric films in that section. In fact, today's selection for analysis could fit into that. It could easily be in the domain of esoteric Hollywood, alchemy, trauma chapter. I would remind you, if you don't follow me yet, please do over here on X. I'm getting close to 100,000. We're going to have a 100,000 party. I was hoping to have a 100,000 party when Bitcoin hit 100,000 for the 100,000 Bitcoin party. And we keep getting right around to the high of 99, and then we pop back down. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we hit 100K, because that's obviously a big resistance point. But if we go through 100K, we could blow up there to 120. You know what I mean? It could just blow the top off. Tear the roof off the sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. Tear the roof off the mother sucker. Right? That's what we're hoping for. Anyway, let's get back to the movie. Now, I have to say, I was really surprised at the, just in terms of the normal Hollywood slop that we get, this was actually a pretty profound film. Just in terms of the themes, the complications of the plot, it was not what you usually expect, was it? This film was a just out of nowhere, like, next level comparative religion. I mean, it's just, I was really surprised. Now, I thought from the trailer that it looked like it would be pretty good. And of course, I think, isn't this a A24 thing? Because all these A24, yeah, it's an A20. They're all the same. I'm gonna try to do it this week. I'm gonna make my spoof A24 horror trailer. It's gonna be really funny because they all kind of have the same patterns and techniques that they use. And we did a live stream a while back where we're all laughing about A24 horror trailers. Sam Hyde talked about it too. So, but this one, although it is A24, it did have elements I did not expect. So we're gonna first of all look at the Mormon element, which, I mean, I knew that from the trailer, but it went in directions I totally just couldn't believe. Then we get into the domain of, is this an atheist zeitgeist type of film? And then it progresses to, no, this is like a horror satanic cult film. And then it progresses into an area that I don't think anybody expects. And then we have the mysterious ending, which I will give my theory on. Guys, if you would, hit like and share. And also, again, thank you for those super chats. It is not too late for Bitcoin, no. Bitcoin will be going up for the rest of our lifetimes until the end of the world. So, I mean, there's going to be some days where it goes down, obviously, but in the long term, it will be forever going up because it will eat all the assets. That's what people don't understand. 98.7. There we go. Let's get into it. So, the film begins with 2 Mormon girls as missionaries. I don't know if this exists. Are there Mormon girl missionaries now? This is odd because this is not at all what's appropriate for women to be doing, first of all, right? I mean, obviously, Mormonism is a offshoot of American prairie Protestantism, right? They're like prairie muffin Muslims, Mormons, right? And we all know, I think we've had enough Mormons come on to debate in the last 3 months. Really the first Mormons we've ever had come to debate, right, in the last 3 months. And just really bizarre, weirdo arguments and tactics. As we know over here, Mormonism is 100% a fraudulent cult. We looked at, for example, Joseph Smith adding 11 verses to Genesis 50 to predict himself. We've looked at other elements of Mormonism, such as its polytheism, the notion that you can be like God the Father and work your way up to becoming a god of your own universe. It's really just a bizarre Gnostic pagan sex opera. It's a Gnostic pagan space sex opera. And yes, Joseph Smith utilized elements of ritual magic and Freemasonry that he borrowed from to craft the temple rituals of Masonry. I mean, of Mormonism, etc., etc. So we have a former Mormon who says almost all young women do missions now. That's pretty wild. This must be something that's more recent for equality, gender, feminist. I mean, I can't figure out why else they would do this. Now, few people know this, and we have to mention this because it doesn't exactly play into this plot, but it is relevant. For many years, the CIA was using Mormonism as a very fertile means for recruiting. As you could imagine, the years that you spend in another country, you learn another language. It's a perfect way for you to be recruited and to be used by the CIA. And we've even had famous Mormons with open CIA connections. Remember the guy, what was his name? Evan McMullen, the guy that was after Trump, famous Mormon. So Mormons have a long-standing, deep connection at the high levels to the establishment. Obviously, the world's foremost genealogy library, that's a big, it plays heavily into the power structure and genetics research. And so it's just I mean, if you look at, for example, the Mormon Church as a corporation, the vast holdings that they have, again, very useful to the power elite, and very obviously a goofy Americanist cult. It's just kind of wild, right? Now, that's how the plot begins. And you've got these two girls who are sent out, and they're just in some kind of, I don't remember where they are. They're in just like some random middle America town, you know, like Ohio, or I don't remember where they are. But they're going door to door, and they bump into some popular girls, some mean girls, as you might call them, who are filming TikTok videos, right? And the movie was slop. Why was it slop? I thought it was good. Now, I will admit there is a feminist element that we're going to critique, but in terms of interesting questions and theories and comparative religion, I think it was a fascinating movie. Aside from the feminist element, which is pretty much in every movie, and aside from the ultimate theological message, which I'll tell you what I think it was. You might disagree. And I want to hear what you think the meaning was at the end, if you disagree. So, the two girls are confronted, or they actually confront and start to talk to the mean girls doing TikTok videos. And they say, hey, we'd like to tell you about, Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, Mormons, blah, blah, blah. And the mean girls act like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Would you take a picture of us? And they pull down the girl's pants and say, are you wearing your magic underwear? Which they are. So we know they're actually committed serious Mormons. And Mormons do have their sacramental religious underwear that they wear. Which, if I recall, and if you're a former Mormon, we have some in the chat. If I recall, I studied Mormonism in depthly, not because I was interested in it. I was supposed to have a debate with a person who was in the Romney campaign back in the day, a famous Mormon. His name is Justin Hart, and I was supposed to debate him. So I did a massive amount of research for like 2 weeks on Mormonism. And is it correct that the Mormon underwear have a square and compass on them? I think that's true. Maybe they stopped printing them with the square and compass. Let's see. These look like just basic, boring whitey tighties. So maybe they don't have the square and compass on them anymore. But somebody said it does. Magic underwear, where do I buy? Well, you can, there's a million websites where you can go and buy them. Let's see, Temple. There was a picture of Temple dudes wearing their Masonic aprons. I mean, the Mormon temples even have like Masonic symbology all over them. It's like, how would you fall? Like, how do you not see that this is a copy paste from, like, it's just really weird. Anyway, I like the fact that in this movie, the Mormon girls are heavily indoctrinated Mormon girls. Now, one of them is a little iffy if she believes it. She doesn't exactly follow it. The other girl is completely committed, and she at first appears very naive. That will be another one of the criticisms I make of the film, is that the girl that initially appears really naive. Let me see if we can find a picture of her. The one that looks literally like Carrie Russell's daughter. I thought this has to be Carrie Russell's daughter, because he literally looks just like her. The one on your right. And she's not. But so the girl over here is super committed Mormon. The other girl is halfway committed Mormon. And we know that because she is using birth control, which is something that Hugh Grant notices right away. Now, I have another question. Forgive me if I sound like an idiot. Is there really such a thing as an implantable birth control thing in your arm? I've never heard of this. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Maybe I should have looked it up before we did this. I've been busy all day, so I don't understand how this works. Like, how does a birth control implant in your arm work? I guess it is. It's called Nexplanon, a small rod inserted into the skin. It releases progestin. Okay, so that, I was just like, when this came up, I was like, what the heck is that? Because it's in the movie, right? It's a big part of the movie. When Hugh Grant notices this about the not so serious Mormon girl, the brunette girl, or the one with the black hair, the non-Carrie Russell girl. I mean, dude, tell me that doesn't look at Carrie Russell even at that age. I mean, dude, that's her. Watch this. Well, she got that Noxzema girl hair right here, but I mean, in the face, come on, dude, that's her. Totally. Anyway. All right, so they're going door to door, and they believe that they had encountered Hugh Grant earlier at the grocery store or something when they were handing out their tracts, right? So they go door to door, they come to his house, they lock their bikes at his gate. And that's important detail for later in the movie. They greet him, and he's initially, overly nice, right? He's like super overly nice and acting really kind of weird and syrupy, and they kind of sense that there's something off. But the funny, and what I thought this was going to be at the beginning, was a treatise on how maybe being overly polite can end a civilization. Because if you watched, what was it, Speak No Evil, the original, I've not seen the James McAvoy movie. This surprised me because, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but the purpose of this movie seemed to be that the open borders policy of the Nordic nations and Europe and so forth seems to be ultimately completely destructive. I can't figure out why they would make this movie, though, with that kind of a message in terms of the climate of today's, arts and entertainment. But if you watch this film, which is it's a pretty, I would say it's a pretty good psychological thriller, a very bleak ending. So spoiler alert, the purpose of the film seems to be that the native people are too polite to ever stand up to the foreigners who literally just do anything and everything. And this ultimately leads to their doom. I thought that that's what this movie was going to be at first. And I'm like, okay, so this is like a criticism on like being too polite and this ending civilization. But I mean, that doesn't seem like what this movie was going to be about from the trailer. And so they have this conversation where eventually Hugh Grant, in a very cunning way, comes up with some creative ways to get them to come inside. They say that it's not their, they don't have the ability to come inside any house unless there's also a female present, and that's for safety issues. But again, this just seems ludicrous to me to send out missionaries door to door, like, what are they, 19-year-old, 18-year-old girls? This is just ridiculous. I mean, especially not in today's world, today's climate, right? So this, to me, just suggests the absurdity and the folly of these idiotic Protestant offshoot cults and Protestant missionary ideology in general, right? I mean, Protestants will send, like, 22-year-old, newly married couple with children into frickin', savage lands where everybody's going to get basically raped and killed. And I just don't think that makes sense in terms of who's appropriate for the mission field. Now, if you got, some tough 30-year-old dudes ready for the mission field, okay, that makes sense. And in the Orthodox Church, obviously, they need to be actual, like, ordained people, not just rando Protestant goofballs. But you see what I'm saying? This is what we just learned from the missionaries or the former Mormons in the chat. Apparently, Mormons are now sending out girl missionaries. And my guess is that Mormonism has had to capitulate and catch up with the times, and they're caving, as you would expect, as a controlled entity to the entire global elite agenda, because they were always a fake thing anyway. So he cleverly tricks them to come in by saying, oh, well, my wife is actually in the kitchen and she's baking a blueberry pie. And so they're like, okay. And so they actually make the mistake of coming in. But he's also clever enough to have a stitched "bless this mess" thing on the wall, which gives the impression that obviously there is a woman in the house, because only a woman would put up such a womanish, meme-ish, stitched, embroidered phrase. Right? Who else does this? But no, there's no dude that puts up "bless this mess" in his house. But as we will find out, Hugh Grant is a very clever, cunning mind control operative, and he even has a picture of what looks to be some sort of woman and their puppy dog. And so he sits down, has tea with them, and says that his wife's making blueberry pie or whatever, and they begin to have a conversation about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, this is really just going to be a serial killer movie, right? I'm thinking it's just a serial killer thing, and it's probably not going to be anything more than like a standard serial killer movie. We're now over 99. Here we are. We're almost 100. I'll be updating you if we hit 100. We'll have a little party over here. We'll have to sing some songs if we hit 100. Again, she looks so much like Carrie Russell. So they begin to have a religious debate. Yes, a movie having an intense theology debate like you would see over here on this channel. And I'm like, is this real? How am I'm watching an A24 horror movie, and they're having like a J. Dyer channel level debate, and it starts to get heated. Because it turns out, this is where I was starting to like the movie, Hugh Grant goes and grabs his copy of the Book of Mormon, and it's got sticky notes everywhere. I'm like, oh, I like this serial killer now. He's got sticky notes all in his books, right? I'm on board, bro. I'm on that same wavelength. I'm vibing with this serial killer. And he starts to make these really strong arguments about Mormonism being a dumb cult. And he says, why did you change your position on polygamy? And he actually mentions the discourses by Brigham Young or whoever. And then the girls are like, and so they don't really know what to say. He brings up some other scandal. I forget what the thing he mentions is. He mentions something else about some other contradiction in Mormon belief, but I don't remember what he says. And he's like pulling it out of the Book of Mormon. He's like, looking at it. He's got it all tabs everywhere. And he's like, what about this? What about this? So they're all freaking out. They're like, all right, well, you know what? We can only give you the information. We can't debate you. And Hugh Grant just keeps pressing them. He's like, well, but I want you to explain this religion to me, or religion in general. He's like, I do believe in God, but probably not the way you think. So now I'm thinking, it's going to turn into a satanic cult movie, right? So they're like, all right, well, we got to get out of here. This is just, it's getting too awkward. And they keep looking for excuses to leave. And he says, well, you can't leave because you were going to have blueberry pie with me. And my wife has just now finished the pie. And so he walks out of the room to go take care of it. And the Carrie Russell clone, she looks down and notices that he's burning a blueberry candle. So there is no blueberry pie, or at least she thinks not. So then they start getting worried. We're in straight up, Creeperville here. So now we got to come up with ways to get out of here. But what's funny is that because they're female Mormon missionaries, the last thing they want to do is hurt his feelings, even though he's obviously becoming some kind of like dangerous creeper in terms of vibe. And so they won't do anything to hurt his feelings. When it's like, okay, they should obviously like make a beeline for the door right now, right? But they don't want to. And so he comes out with the blueberry pie. And then there's this really interesting scene as they get up, they start making excuses. Oh, we've got to go back to to the church. We got a call from somebody, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how'd you get a call when there's a Faraday cage in this house? And then they're like, okay, we got a legit crazy man here. Dude's got a Faraday cage in his home. Now we definitely got to get out of here. This is like a tinfoil hat lunatic. And then we see a really odd scene that appears out of nowhere, which seems innocuous, but is kind of a key to the whole movie. You see that octagon window above her head. She looks over at the octagon window and she sees a monarch butterfly, trying to get out, but it dies. And so in other words, you think on the surface level, it's symbolic, it's foreshadowing that they're trapped and they're going to die there. And she's starting to think that. But keep that in mind, because the butterfly is going to come up and be one of the keys to decoding the whole film. And I think a lot of people miss this. Now, Hugh Grant leaves the room, and they go to try to walk out the front door. He keeps delaying, and the door's locked. So obviously they're not getting out. So then they're just kind of standing there. They don't know what to do. As you said, it's the blueberry. Here's the homemade blueberry aromatherapy. So then, by the way, it's like this trailer is like the whole movie combined into like 3 minutes. That's funny. So they're looking out and they see the butterfly die right there. Appreciate those super chat. So they don't know what to do, and they decide, all right, we're just going to go have to confront him and tell him to let us out. And so they walk down this dark hallway, and I'm not exactly sure what the meaning of the imagery that we see in this hallway is, because as they're walking through the hall, he's got busts And it looks like a bust of like Plato or Aristotle. So I couldn't really tell what it was or who it was. I'm sure it has some significance because there's a lot of highly symbolic elements in this film. But it's hard to see what it is. And when they emerge, he's standing there at an altar. Now we're getting into actual sort of creep land. I'm thinking, okay, now we're into satanic cult level stuff. But it's this weird room where there's 2 doors, and he says, welcome to my library chapel. You're going to have a choice here. And I have to admit, like, this is a pretty badass library. Like, I'm kind of jealous of his setup here. Like, he's a creeper, but if he's got a badass library here. I mean, I don't care about his weird Protestant satanic Masonic altar, but he's got a cool ass library. And he also says, I'm sorry, but there's a timer and I can't open the door. You're going to have to leave the house through one of these 2 doors. And on one of the doors, he puts belief, and another door he puts disbelief. And he says, you make the choice. And at the same time, what he's doing is he's wanting them to choose based on what they really believe. And so to the Carrie Russell girl, he says, you seem to really believe it, so I think I know what you're going to choose. But to the other girl, he says, I don't think you really believe this religion, or at least you have some doubts. And he somehow knows her background. He knows a little bit about her, right? So he mentions her dad and issues in her past. And he says, I think one of you is going to choose belief, one unbelief, whatever. Yes, so you're correct. It's very dualistic. And I think the meaning here is that the Hugh Grant character, as we're going to see, is wanting to set up the fact that the dialectics that you have in a religion, and I think I'm right about this dialectics point, and you'll see why when we get to the Marxist element here in a moment. The dialectics that Hugh Grant is presenting, he's actually saying it's all bullcrap. Right? You think you got to choose the right door to be saved, the belief, and this is going to lead you out of my homemade maze here. And the wrong door is going to lead you to, being trapped in a dungeon or whatever. But you don't know which one it is. So you're going to have to choose based on whether you really believe or not. So as we see, he's setting himself up as the Gnostic Archon deity. Intentionally. That will become very apparent by the end of the film. And that will also be one of my main critiques of, like, morally and theologically what's wrong with the film. But as you have noticed, if you followed my analysis or if you watched a lot of our Hollywood breakdowns, the Gnostic, esoteric, Yaldabaoth, evil creator god, male creator god narrative, it just never goes away. It's always the same pattern. And absolutely, in this one, though, it's very self-conscious that Hugh Grant wants you to understand and wants the girls to understand, you can see me like God the Father. You can see me like this evil, tyrant, patriarchal torturer god who appears to be nice on its face, but is really setting you up for a rigged game. Because as you may have figured out, or if you've seen the movie, you probably know, both doors lead to the same dungeon, right? So the choice is a false choice. Well, if it's a boring thing, then you don't have to be here. Like, what, you in the chat to yawn? We're actually going to get to an interesting point here. So if you're yawning, that only makes you look stupid because you came to sit in a chat that you find boring to yawn at. How can you yawn? That just tells me you a broke ass dude because you could be celebrating at 99, almost 100K. You over yawning. How are you going to be yawning when you should have stacked sats, son? All right. Anyway, so false choice. Both choices lead to the dungeon. But what is the most revealing in this scene is Hugh Grant lays out board games. And he says, you see how there was an original Monopoly? There was a knockoff that was really popular. And then there was a third version of Monopoly. And there's all these variants today. He says that just as it's a capitalist scheme of consumerist choice in religion for mankind, he says, in the same way, the denominations are a capitalist type of scheme. This is where we get the Marxist dialectics. And he says, just like the original, the original monopoly corresponds to Judaism, the original monotheism, right? Christianity rips off Judaism, he says, and then Islam rips off Christianity. That part's correct. But no, there's not an original monotheism. This is a mistake. But what we're starting to realize is that his big library, and as the camera pans around his awesome library, he actually has little statues of all the different deities, if you notice, if you pay attention. There's Hindu deities, there's other deities. So we're starting to, okay, so this is a guy who like studied, compared, he went full Gnostic bro. And then, after his analogy to religion being like board games, then he goes full zeitgeist. That was the craziest part. That was when it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is getting really, really interesting, because Hugh Grant literally gives a zeitgeist level critique of Christianity, that all the religions have dying, virgin, dying, resurrecting savior gods with mother goddess, which they don't. But it's like full zeitgeist, and he's got a corner dedicated to explaining the zeitgeist theosophy. And the girls think they're like going to get killed. And then he like lowers down this like lecture, like a whiteboard, and he starts giving like a slide lecture of zeitgeist shit. I thought this part was funny. It's like dark humor, obviously. But then the girls are like totally freaking out. They start crying, and he's like, you have to make a choice. I'm sorry. So I'm trying to remember exactly. I think one girl, they both choose the door of belief, because they start to reason that Hugh Grant wants them to choose the door that they really believe. And since they really believe Mormonism, because they're going door to door, they should choose the belief door. This leads them, as we said, to the same dungeon as they descend down the steps. And then they're trapped. And then we see him start whittling. And this is important, because this again is telling us that in his mind, he sees himself as a God figure. And so not only has he whittled his house and the whole labyrinth that is his house, like God's house, he's an architect, the great architect, whittling out and fashioning his creations that are like toys to play with in his labyrinth house. And there you can see the house. It's going to get a lot more in depth too as it progresses. So here you see the first room where they have to choose, and both doorways lead to the same dungeon. When they get down to the dungeon, they find that there's nothing in here but this table with the blueberry pie, and then this creepy ass, like dirty woman in tattered rags wanders in, contorts her body into a weird position, and starts to pray. Well, this then freaks out the girls. They don't know what to do. They're trying to figure out a way to get out of the dungeon. And yes, Jamie, that's a good point. The Hugh Grant character does, not only does he represent kind of the evil Gnostic creator god, he's also represents kind of the satanic idea of survival of the fittest, like in terms of like the LaVey Church of Satan idea. That's it. That is an element here, because he's going to later say what the real religion is. By the way, I got it right. So when we're watching, about a fourth of the way into the movie, he says, oh, I believe in the true religion. I'll tell you what that is here in a little bit, and maybe you can figure it out. And I said right away what it was, and I was correct. So yes, he represents kind of the satanic principle of, well, you'll see. So they're in the dungeon here. The weird woman appears. She walks over to them, contorts her body, and starts to pray. And then Hugh Grant comes on the microphone, and he's got a speaker in there in the dungeon. He says, I'm going to prove to you and show to you the true religion. He says, because I told you I figured it out, here is one of my prophets, this prophetess woman. She's going to demonstrate a miracle of resurrection to you. And so they're like, what? And then the girls start debating amongst each other, like, well, what is he actually wanting us to do? Like, what can we do to, to further our lifespan here in this dungeon, to make him think that we're playing along so that we don't, immediately get killed. So they decide they're going to have to play along, and they're like, okay, so, show us your miracle. The weird tattered rags woman eats the blueberry pie that he had cooked earlier. He says this blueberry pie is full of various poisons. This woman will eat this pie and will come back from the dead, right? So she does this and she falls over dead. Hugh Grant then does something. I forget what happens. Something distracts everyone. And I think there's a doorbell ring or something happens, like a doorbell ring. And this makes the girls think that, we can go up here and scream and get the attention. Well, while they're doing that, we find out later on, Hugh Grant has come in and brought another woman in that looks just like the first woman in the tattered rags and replaces the now dead woman, right? But we don't know this yet. And so after the distraction at the doorbell, and the girls screaming to try to get attention, then they come back and they see the woman, and the Carrie Russell girl notices that her positioning is a little bit off. And so she reasons, well, that can't be her because her head is positioned differently. So something has happened. Either it's a miracle or she's been replaced. So Hugh Grant says, look, here, I've shown you a miracle. Now, Hugh Grant has another level of design here where he wants to, in his designs, where he wants to demonstrate that religion is potentially just fraudulent, staged miracles, and that the whole thing can be built up from that. So he's like, at this point, he's like super atheist level, like he's full on Dawkins, Dillahunty. Like if Matt Dillahunty became an insane serial killer psychopath, he would be doing this level of object lesson apologetics, right, to disprove religion. And so this is where I'm like, okay, this is getting really fascinating. Like, this is not at all the movie I thought it was. I have no idea where this is going to go. And the girls were like, yeah, we're not sure we believe this. I don't really believe this religion. This doesn't make any sense. And they start to realize there might be some holes in his story. So then he comes down into the dungeon and he says, all right, sit down. So they sit at this table. And then he draws out on the table. He says, what if all of this that I've shown you so far was a ruse? Because I want you to now choose at this level of the Inferno. And yes, this is when we begin to learn that the house is structured like Dante's Inferno. He says, what I want you to learn at this level is, are you in a simulation or are you experiencing all these things in reality? And this is where I thought it was getting really fascinating. Again, I have criticisms of the movie, but so we find out, and the camera later pans and shows the house structured like Dante's Inferno with these levels. And we were beginning to get an idea of that with the way the house is built like a maze, like a labyrinth. This also suggests the idea of Theseus in the labyrinth, right? In mythology, this is one of the most famous classic images of mythology, being trapped in the labyrinth, and then the Minotaur being the tyrant that rules the labyrinth. And so clearly Hugh Grant is like the Minotaur in this analogy, right? The Minotaur of Crete. Theseus and the Minotaur. I don't know why that won't work, but anyway, you get the idea. This is Matthew Cratter of Bitcoin University. Yeah, you wanted a Matthew Cratter. How about an Ivan? Oh, yes, guys, clicking the button. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Pump, pump, pump. Bitcoin will be pump. Ah, yes, guys, putting on the big boy pants. Bitcoin is 100K. Guys, didn't I tell you that Bitcoin would hit 100K? And here we are. Oh, yes, guys, clicking the button. Right? Is there anybody else in the crypto space to impersonate? Let's get back to this. Oh, see, we got up to 99.3. We got so close. A new all-time high, and we didn't hit 100. All right, so this was where it's getting really wild. He grabs a piece of chalk and he draws on the table there to the girls. He says, the next challenge is, what if you're in a simulation, and how would you know? And is that the true religion? So then he says, I can prove it to you. And he says, your friend isn't real. And he goes over to her and he grabs her and cuts out of her arm the birth control thing. And he says, look, she's been implanted with a microchip because she's a synthoid. She's not real. You're in a simulation. And he says, what do you choose now and what do you do? And she says, well, I think you're improvising. Now, here's another critique I have. Why in this film, when these girls are like completely terrified and don't really know what's going on the entire time, and this very demure, innocuous Carrie Russell girl here, she suddenly becomes Sherlock Holmes. This was the annoying part of this film. Like, how does she suddenly know all of the details, what he's up to? This was a weakness in the film, I think. She should have been less. There's a name for this in movies. People, they were making fun of this a few years ago. It was called competence prawn, where in movies they have this character. It's like a character device where the character just suddenly is an expert and a mate and like does everything and knows everything. It just really kind of makes the movies a little unbelievable. Yeah, like she suddenly is like this, literally like Sherlock Holmes. Like she caught every detail and like understood the workings of everything he was up to all of a sudden. That was the weakest part of the narrative, I thought. But she says, she figures out, she says, I think you're improvising. You aren't actually planning the simulation thesis part of the argument. You brought this up because we're starting to doubt your miracle and religion performance that you put on. And she says, if you stage the miracle, then there has to be a dead body. And Hugh Grant's intrigued and he says, oh, well, maybe you're smarter than I thought. Where do you think the body might be? And then the Carrie Russell girl says, well, there must be some hidden door in this place. And you replaced the body when we were distracted by the doorbell when we ran to the top of the stairs. And of course, there is a hidden compartment door. And it's underneath the card table in this dungeon. So she flips the card table over. There's a little hidden door there. And Hugh Grant says, well, if you really believe that that's what's going on, you'll go down the dungeon. You'll go down into the next level of my Inferno. And we do explicitly know it's Dante's Inferno because the camera at one point pans the wall in the library and we see a giant picture, a framed print of Dante's Inferno. And also by extension, you can think of this as Theseus's Labyrinth, because eventually when we see what he's actually whittled out, what he's carved out an entire structure of his house and the layers of the underworld all the way down to the dungeon level. So there's levels and levels and levels. This dude is like taking his zeitgeist Gnostic nonsense to the next level. Now, if you remember in Dante's Inferno, I had a grad class on Dante's Inferno. It was a really good class. We went really deep into the text. And there's a lot going on in Dante's Inferno, Disco's Inferno. one of the things is that Dante relied heavily on the Greco-Roman pagan mythos. I'm not sure why, but I think because he's a classical, writing in what we would call the classical tradition and writing with the literary devices that were popular in the Middle Ages at his time, he had to utilize these neoclassicist, I guess, ideas of the Greco-Roman pagan world. The Medicis obviously are very heavily influenced by Greco-Roman paganism and Neoplatonic magic. And so he constructs this vast three-tiered world, as you guys know, of the Inferno, Purgatio, and the heavens, right? But in the Inferno, there's these levels and layers of hell, all of which correspond to certain vices. And the last level of hell, in Dante's mind, is a giant frozen lake. And Satan is there in hell. And this is the funniest part. And he's frozen with his head sticking up, I think, or his ass sticking up. I forget which one it is, but you might think, well, wait a minute, why would Satan be frozen? Now, I know we have a lot of smart people, and these are, classic woodcuts and images of Satan frozen at the bottom ice layer level of hell. Why would he be froze? Ice, baby. Why would it be the case? Yes, it's the hell of traitors for sure, but there's a metaphysics reason why. Dante is working with the older Aristotelian metaphysics that to be at the lowest level of hell would be to be stuck, right, in non-being almost. So you're like immobile and stuck there. And the heavens are moving, right? The celestial spheres are always in movement, and the perfect movement is a perfect circle. But to be in hell would be to be the opposite of that, to be frozen in place. So there's kind of these weird metaphysical assumptions about what hell would be in Dante. Not Deante and not Delante. That's a different dude. That's my cousin. Dante's Inferno. But that's why he's frozen. When Carrie Russell girl, not her, the other one, when she descends into the dungeon, she crawls all the way down. Sure enough, she finds the body. So she was correct. He was working on the fly and had staged the miracle and came up with the simulation thesis as a distraction. So you'll notice that Hugh Grant keeps kind of throwing out these distractions that try to keep you away from solving the labyrinth. And he says, the only way you're going to find freedom is to descend down deeper into my Inferno. So she goes down there, she finds the body, and then she finds a doorway. And in this doorway, I forget what's on the... so when she first gets down there, it's interesting. There he's got a bunch of religious items. This was crazy. And the religious items at this lower level, or lowest level almost, are all like primal animistic religions. So it's like voodoo stuff and totems and fetish idols and, bones and shit like that, right? So there's a religious symbolism to the descent in the Inferno. And then there's a door with a giant ritual magic satanic symbol on it. So she passes through that door, and lo and behold, there's a giant open literal Satanism room with a satanic altar. So now we're starting to think, no, actually maybe he is a full-on like committed hardcore satanic ritual abuse dude, right? Now I would add that this is not far-fetched in terms of some of these groups. In fact, if you remember the Hamlin case, which is a recent Mormon SRA case that we covered in depth with Chiller Queen 1 year ago, this kind of stuff, again, does exist. So refresh yourself on the David Hamlin case, which was a real like people got convicted. If you don't remember that, and that connects to Mormon groups. So she descends down to this lair. She walks through these doors, and she's at the final door, and it's the satanic altar dungeon. But there's one more door. And when she gets up to the final door, the door is locked with her bike lock. And what this means is that she was correct that she had figured out how he got the bike lock and how he trapped them there. Because when he was supposedly cooking the blueberry pie, he actually went outside and stole their bikes and grabbed the bike lock. And she, like Sherlock Holmes, figured this out because he had water on his head somehow. When she comes to the final door, she has the key, the bike lock key. She unlocks the lock and walks into a freezer, a giant walk-in freezer with cages full of women. And the cages are his prophets, prophetesses. So he's actually got a whole harem of cage women, as if he's sort of involved in human TRAFFICKING. And so this gets pretty dark. This is kind of like Prisoners. Remember the movie Prisoners, the Villeneuve, Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman thing where the atheist Satanists are like ritually abusing kids and turning them into basically turning the kids into serial killers and kidnap. Remember this? Same kind of thing going on. And so she realizes, okay, this is your whole game, Hugh Grant. You were kidnapping women, blah, 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 blah. And he comes down there and he says, have you figured out what the true religion is and what my religion is? And the religion is control. So all religion is dominance and control through manipulation and psychological techniques and tactics. The purpose of the labyrinth was that it's all a maze to control you. And the solution to the maze is that there isn't really a solution. It's just control. However, he has put a exit to the maze. And after some scuffling and a brawl, there's a scene where the other girl is dead, basically. She's had her throat cut. The brunette, the dark brunette. There's this scuffle, and as she gets out of the lower dungeon after she stabbed him with a letter opener or something, and she ran out. She should have locked him in there. I don't know why she didn't do that. But so she's trying to get out, and she's about to make it out, and Hugh Grant crawls up the ladder. He's about to kill her, and she starts praying. As she's praying, her friend that was bleeding out basically finds her last bit of energy, or she comes back to life or something weird. It's not exactly clear what she does, but she wakes up and she kills Hugh Grant and saves the Carrie Russell girl. So this allows the Carrie Russell girl to survive. She goes upstairs, but she realizes she still can't get out of the house. But there's still got to be some solution. Well, she realizes that he's been this whole time, whittling his little miniature house. And the whittled miniature house is literally a perfect replica of everything in the house. So there has to be some escape route. And there is. So she solves the maze, realizes that there is a little tiny grate that you can crawl out of. And she's been stabbed and almost killed or whatever. And so she finally gets out. And this is the big key reveal. She starts running away. Hugh Grant's going to, he's dead. Her friend died. And as she's leaving the house, a butterfly lands on her finger. Now, earlier in the film, they had a conversation about the butterfly. and they were discussing afterlife, right? And somebody said, well, how would you give a sign that there's life after death? And the Carrie Russell girl says, well, maybe I could come back for a little while as a butterfly, and I would land on my relatives to let them know that it was me and that I was sending them a sign and that I'm okay in the afterlife. The butterfly lands on her finger. Thus, I think we're supposed to assume that her friend did make it to the afterlife, and it was her friend sending the sign to her that, yes, there is an afterlife, yes, God exists, and yes, prayer works. Because several times throughout the film, they have a debate about whether prayer does anything or works. But here's the thing that a lot of people missed. And this is, I think, the point. The improvising about the simulation theory wasn't actually an improvisation. That was actually the real religion, because the butterfly disappears. It wasn't real. And they also have a discussion in the film where at one point, I think Hugh Grant brings up the Chinese butterfly riddle. And he says, so you've heard of the butterfly, riddle or whatever. And he says, a Chinese philosopher, ancient Chinese philosopher said, we see a butterfly and we think, there's a butterfly over there. But how do we know that we're not in the mind of the butterfly? Ooh, right. So let's see if this is right. Chinese butterfly riddle comes from the ancient Chinese text Zhongzi. It's about a Taoist philosopher who dreams that he is a butterfly. In the story, the Zhongzi falls asleep and he dreams he's a butterfly. And when he wakes up, he was unsure if he was a man who dreamed it was a butterfly or if he was a butterfly who dreamed that he was a man. The story shows us what happens when philosophers question it. This is the AI explaining what this means. Anyway. So the question is then, well, what's real? Are we in a simulation that we ultimately need to get out of? I actually think that's the point of the movie. The point of the movie is, in an indirect way, arguing for simulation theory. And that kind of in a Gnostic, Platonic sense, we are in a labyrinth created by an evil Hugh Grant type of creator god. And the only way out of this is to realize that we're in the labyrinth, and that, I guess, simulation theory itself is the awakening process to realize that that's the only way out of the simulation. I mean, we've critiqued simulation theory quite a bit, and ironically, I had just uploaded my simulation critique video to Twitter a couple days before seeing the movie. But now maybe you disagree, but I think that the butterfly is the actual key to the whole film. And that actually makes sense with the narrative of Hugh Grant as the Gnostic creator imprisoning God, and that the whole labyrinth is a lie. It's all an illusion. The only way out is to realize that it's a rigged game. You're in the Matrix, dude. But I do agree there's the ritual abuse themes too of the monarch mind control. I understand that's an element there for sure. But the only explanation for the butterfly disappearing on her finger at the very last scene is either the Chinese proverb that it was all not real and we live in a matrix, and that was a glitch in the matrix, or we're just supposed to think that it was her friend appearing as the butterfly to show her that there's afterlife, and then she disappears because it was just a sign. I mean, that's possible too. But I don't think that there would be, if that was the meaning, why do you have this continual reappearing question of simulation theory in the movie? So in other words, if you remember, Hugh Grant in the movie, in every one of these stages, he uses misdirection. He keeps misdirecting the girls from actually figuring out what his game is and solving that level. So it's not surprising to me that the film itself would misdirect you many times over to where you think, oh, it's a cult film, it's a serial killer film, it's a satanic ritual film. oh, it's actually a film about, something else. You think it's atheism for a while. You think the whole thing is to convince them of atheism. But then it ends up being all distractions, that the film is actually arguing simulation theory. If you disagree, tell me why it's a better explanation for what your better explanation is for the butterfly disappearing. I think the butterfly disappearing just doesn't do any justice to all of the simulation theory references. Unless it's just misdirection. Maybe the simulation theory prevalence was all misdirection as well. What do you guys think? Are we? No, we're still hanging low. One of the things I do appreciate about this film, by the way, is that any film that makes me kind of think about it and try to figure it out nowadays, that's enough to impress me. Like, that's enough for me to say, okay, that's pretty good. I at least had to think about it and try to figure it out, try to decode it. But the film does have a subtle, as you can imagine, feminist theme, because if Hugh Grant is a Gnostic tyrant deity, then it's because he's a male Gnostic tyrant patriarch deity who is imprisoning women in his dungeon. The prophetesses are all women. So the rebellion of the two Mormon girls has to be against the patriarchal masculine deity. And even if he's the creator of the Matrix, it's still the same kind of anti-male Gnostic imagery. By the way, if you don't know, the ancient Gnostics were the actual proto-feminists, because they posited the importance of the goddess and the Pistis Sophia, right, up there with Jesus. Jesus is basically trying to get back to the goddess in the Pistis Sophia narrative, if I recall. So they were proto-feminists way before anyone else. Anyway, hopefully you guys like this analysis and breakdown. I do want to hear your views, though. I'm not saying, maybe, am I the only person that watched the movie? The first butterfly was her friend who died, and the second was herself. No. Well, the first butterfly can't be her friend because her friend isn't dead yet. So that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's an interesting point, Jordan. Like, if this girl is like Sherlock Holmes level genius intelligence, why is she following this goofball religion? That's a good point. 34 JDM $5. Give me the bugs or give me death. Chester Cheese, $10. Jay, my Reformed Baptist buddy is bullying Orthodox on the Eucharist. How does anyone bully anyone on a theology topic on the internet? I came to Orthodoxy from his church, and I am in the early stages. What's a good thing to point out about his theology that doesn't track? Well, just look up the real presence doctrine amongst the church fathers. And it's pretty easily established and pretty widespread that the church fathers teach the real presence. That's a pretty easy way, I would say, to say, look, there's absolutely no historical precedence for the Reformed Baptist view. In fact, you guys are absolutely ahistorical, and your views actually line up with some of the heretics in terms of denying the real presence. Christopher Scott, $5. Thank you for all you do, Jay. I thought this movie was interesting, especially all the game analogies. Yeah, I think that was where we're supposed to get the idea that in Hugh Grant's religious apostasy, he had at some point taken some sort of Marxist route. Because why else? I mean, the only people that compare religions to capitalist consumerism are Marxists. So he had some bypass, some road, some stop along the way in Marxist atheism. And that's also why, if you remember, at several points, Hugh Grant makes these kind of lib cuck arguments too, right? He's like, religion harms women. And that's funny because you think initially he's like a lib atheist. You think he's like a psycho serial killer version of Matt Dillahunty, but he's actually way crazier than that. Like, he's not even opposed to religion. He's like, no, I have the true religion, and it's me, and I'm a cult leader, And yeah, absolutely, because all religion is control. And since all religion is control and there is no God, I'm my own God, and I'll do whatever I want. Dr. Chillin, $5. You look like a boomer dad from the 90s with that shirt. It's kind of sexy. That's about a $5 worth of kind of gay comment. But hey, I said I was going to wear my 1997 preppy dude shirt, and I did. Because I found it at the outlet mall for $30, bro. Storm the Cat, $10. It's a hexagon, not an octagon. Well, I'm gonna meet you in the octagon. You try to correct me again. I'm just kidding. For $10, you can correct me all day long. Dr. Chillin, $5. Your movie reviews are actually seriously underrated. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Where is everybody, by the way? Actually, we did get up to about 900 tonight, so that's pretty good for a movie review. I love the debate nights, but this is great for a change. I can't do debates every night. I get tired of arguing just goofy stuff with goobers for 6 hours. I mean, the audiences love it. You guys love it. I get 30,000 views on debates and 8,000 views on movie reviews. So there you go. Do I like MMA? Yeah, I like UFC. Who doesn't like UFC? What movies are you planning to do next? Yes, so Jamie, a great question. I'm glad you said that. Jamie and I watched multiple. Most of them are not that good, I have to say. There was a couple that were pretty good. We're doing a bot wife, bot girlfriend theme next. So yes, we watched the Megan Fox movie because it was all about that, and we watched about 6 more, and just most of these, they're all kind of the same, and they're all kind of not that good. So we watched Subservience, we watched Zoe with Ewan McGregor and Leah Seydoux. We watched, I've already forgotten the names of all of them. We watched about 6 or 7 of them. Lars and the Real Girl was interesting. I don't know if I liked it. But, you know, Lars and the Real Girl was actually pretty early. Like, it was way ahead of a lot of this stuff. Now, I know there's other movies that have SEX bots. Jude Law, right? And AI plays an SEX bot. Blade Runner has SEX bots. I'm well aware of all of the movies, Westworld, that have SEX bots. No, this was specifically recent movies that focus on the rolling out of SEX bots because home companion bots are now rolling out, right? So Elon's, I forget what the name of his robot is, but because he rolled that out, we thought it'd be a good idea to talk about it. And then we realized there's like 8 new movies about having, you know, Megan Fox bots that are house cleaners or whatever. And most of them are not very good. Yeah, iRobot. I forgot about iRobot. Yeah, Subservience is like Terminator mixed with Blade Runner mixed. I mean, it's like, oh, Ex Machina. That was a good one. But Tristan and I literally just did Ex Machina like a few months ago. So we did a huge breakdown of it. And we did a 10-year anniversary breakdown because I did breakdowns of Ex Machina 10 years ago. I put it in Esoteric Hollywood 1. And so Tristan had never seen it, so that we had a good time going back and reviewing that. And absolutely, Ex Machina was a great film. I don't think, is it Alex Garland? I don't think he's made a good movie since then. Annihilation was, I mean, the idea was okay, I guess, but not. It just ended up with, all they ever do is make these feminist, Gnostic, Luciferian plots, and it just gets old. And Men, that movie sucked. I thought it had potential from the trailer, but you don't like Ex Machina? I think it's good. Oh, you don't like Cyberpunk? Let's see. What else do we... It's just really hard to find movies that are actually that good, worth even analyzing. We've had to go back and, you know, watch a lot of old movies. In the last few years, Jamie and I have gone super deep into noir. I've seen most of the top 50 noir movies. There's about probably 5 to 10 I haven't seen yet, but I've seen about 50 of them. So I'm going to soon be a noir expert, I guess. There's a couple foreign noir films and a couple British that I haven't seen yet. But guys, remember to follow me over here on X if you don't yet, please, and help me get to 100K. Yeah, we've done Stepford Wives. Yeah, we've done Wicker Man. I've done Wicker Man like 3 times. You know, I did see Infinity Pool. I did and didn't like it. In fact, we did everything that everybody asked me to do. We literally just did. We did a massive breakdown that everybody loved of Will There Be Blood, or There Will Be Blood. So if you guys didn't see me and Tristan do that, we did a great breakdown that the audience, it was very well received right here over on Tristan's channel. There Will Be Blood. So we were going back and forth between his channel and my channel at this time. So some of these are on his channel and some of them are on mine. So if you're looking for There Will Be Blood, there's a 2-hour breakdown there. Yep, we've done Minority Report. We did, I did Color Out of Space. Yep, there's a video of me breaking down Color Out of Space. In fact, I really enjoyed Mandy and Color Out of Space. I thought they were both a lot of fun. I mean, any Nick Cage movie, you can guarantee that I've broken it down right away. You know, within the last few years. So here's Color Out of Space. I've got a weird ass beard going on there. I don't know what's going on there. It must have been winter time, and I was like, hold up. I was tucked off in winter. Yep, we've done Cabin in the Woods. Bro, Eyes Wide Shut. You must be joking. My most popular video is my almost 500,000 views Eyes Wide Shut. So I basically made a mini documentary about Eyes Wide Shut right here. We have talked about Gattaca on multiple streams. We've done Lighthouse, yes. Yeah, I've done Face Off. I've done most of the big Nick Cage movies. I don't know what hyper normalization is. Is that a documentary? Not the bees. Not the bees. I did Dune 2. Yep. Yeah, we've done National Treasure. Yep, we've done THX. In fact, Tristan and I did THX. I was really hoping we'd hit 100K while I was doing the live stream, so we could have a party. Here is THX. That's old school. That's that dark Tristan. You talk about dark Brandon, dark Maga. How about dark Tristan? Look at that. Empty Man. I did Empty Man. Yep. Cosmic. I love cosmic horror for sure. And we had a fun time doing Empty Man with the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And I just put that up on my podcast feed, audio-wise, by the way, if you guys missed that. I don't blame you guys for not knowing all this because frickin'... but we also did Empty Man with the Psyop Cinema Bros. So if you didn't watch that, we did La Femme Nikita, Hardware, Empty Man. And then I did Empty Man alone by myself here with Tim Leary's Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is very relevant to the Shaco-sphere. Just kidding. Relevant to the Shaco-nauts. Is Dune 2 on your channel? Yes, it is. What's it called? I think I titled it something different, though, because I tied it into that History of CIA and Religion book. If you type in Dune, let's see. This is my old Dune analysis. It's not. It's these are better. Dune 2 and the history of the OSS and CIA, right there. That's the Dune 2 analysis. No, I've not done Big Lebowski. That's actually one movie that I've overlooked. Jamie and I've talked about doing it. Yep, I've done Midsommar, done Hereditary. Yep, we've done that. I've watched A Boy and His Dog. It's interesting. It's got Don Johnson in it. Yeah. I've not done Constantine. That's one we could do. Let me write that down. So you guys are giving me some good recommendations. Welcome everybody. We've still got 600 plus in the chat, and you guys are the real brain trust. And we have the highest IQ audience. I'm not joking. We literally have the highest IQ audience out here for sure. So the Void, we did talk about it, but I've not done a full-on analysis. I like the Void. Tristan and I just did Fight Club. We did a deep dive on Fight Club. It was a really good one. Yes, actually, The Witch is the first podcast that Jamie and I did. Yeah, I've done The Matrix. I've done it many times. I'm sick of talking about The Matrix, actually. The very first podcast that Jamie and I did was The Witch. The Vitch. The Vitch. At 8 years ago. So check this out. It's not even video. I didn't even know what to do. I was just like uploading shitty ass audios to YouTube. I had no idea what I was doing. Too Old to Die Young. I've not done that. I've not done Shawshank Redemption. We've actually done End of Days, believe it or not. We did an Arnold extravaganza, and End of Days is a big part of that because I've always thought End of Days was totally ridiculous. Like, you could do a stand-up routine about End of Days. It's so retarded. Arnold Schwarzenegger extravaganza. Last Action Hero, Junior, 6th Day, and Running Man. Wait, that's not End of Days, though. I know I've done End of Days. Maybe I've just talked about it on podcasts and we never did it. I don't remember right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually glad I haven't explicitly done End of Days, because get this. Esoteric Hollywood 3 is called Esoteric Hollywood Sex, Cults, and Apocalypse in Film. So we're actually gonna do all of these. And there's like a shit ton of these recently. I don't know if you noticed this, but for whatever reason, Hollywood has put out all of these satanic nun movies. Have you seen this? By the way, The Omen was actually pretty good. It was almost really good. The Omen prequel, that was a legit, like, scary movie. This one, yeah. I was actually impressed with this movie. This movie was really good. Now, I won't say the ending because I don't want to spoil it if you've not seen it. Because they throw one just really dumb thing in at the end. If they had not thrown that stupid thing in at the end, this would have been probably one of the best horror movies ever made. Apartment 7A was good. The Rosemary's Baby prequel. But I don't know what the deal is with all of these satanic nun movies. There's just a ton of these. BLA and Kotel, they did 13th Warrior the other day, and they did pretty good. I've always hated that movie. I've always thought 13th Warrior was just terrible. But they did a full breakdown of it, so you could watch theirs. The original Omen trilogy, I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's also got dumb shit. We've done The Game. Oh, yeah. Jamie and I have done The Game. If you've not seen The Omen, this was really good. Like, this was a really good movie. Probably one of the best horror movies I've seen this year. But there were some good ones this year. Remember, a lot of these ones that you're requesting, we've done it. It's just that half the time the damn search function just doesn't work and all my shit's buried. So it's really annoying. But yes, this one does come up right here. So we did Eyes Wide Shut like films. The Firm, The Game, Golden Child. This was a good one. So, yeah, I enjoyed The Game for sure. We talked about Imaginarium of... No, Tristan and I did Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Yes, Tristan and I did it. Mothman... Jamie hates it. I actually think it's okay. I'm not sure what I think about the Mothman, though. I mean, is it total bullcrap? Is it a demon? Is it... I don't know what to think about Mothman. Let the Right One In. I mean, I remember watching it and being into it, but I didn't come away thinking that I liked it. So I don't know if I want to analyze it. We probably should analyze Pan's Labyrinth because it's definitely a feminist, satanic, occult-ish movie. And everyone liked it, thought it was great. I didn't like it. Yeah, I think I've done From Beyond. How do you analyze Night of the Living Dead? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a zombie movie. We already mentioned The Void. We've talked about it. We've not done an analysis of The Void. I did like The Void. The first two VHS movies, I hate found footage movies. I don't like them at all. I'll watch some of them if I think they might be really good, but I've never liked any of them. There was one found footage movie one time I saw that was it was an independent, obscure movie. It was really good. I can't remember the name of it, but the whole movie was presented as if it was a documentary, and it actually looked like a real documentary, but it was a found footage fake horror movie. It was pretty good. Yeah, we've done They Live multiple times. I did Pan's Labyrinth. I don't remember doing it, but maybe I did. I mean, we've been doing this for... we started doing movie analysis podcasts in 2012 or 13, so we're like 11 years into this. A lot of people have been saying to do Caddo Lake. I'll have to check that one out. I did a documentary on The Shining, so my Shining documentary is like my second most popular video. It has, I mean, not that much, like 150,000 views. I don't even see it, but it should be on top videos somewhere. But yeah, I did a whole hour-long Shining breakdown. Autopsy of Jane Doe. I mean, some of these movies, there's not a whole lot to analyze. That's why what we found was that it's better to group them together with similar themes. Because the way I do analysis, as you guys can tell, it's pretty in-depth. Yeah, I did a mini documentary on Suspiria. It's called Suspiria and the Sorcery of Surrealism. And I've watched the whole Dark Mothers trilogy, so we could do that one for sure. We already did. I think Jamie and I did that. I did Butterfly Effect. I did a whole video on that. I watched half of Naked Lunch, and I think I fell asleep. Yeah, I did a whole... I'm not because it was bad. I think it was just late at night. Yes, I did a whole video on Beyond the Black Rainbow. And I do like Beyond the Black Rainbow. I think it's really good. And I like Mandy. I mean, Mandy is an amazing film. It's pretty gruesome. I'm not saying it's like a wholesome film. It's gruesome and it's hard to watch, but I mean, it's an amazing film. Just like I mean, if I was gonna make a movie, I'd be like, damn, that's a badass movie. I wish I made a movie that badass. But it's gruesome. I'm gonna warn you. It'll gross you out. Oh yeah, dude. We've done Videodrome. I've done it multiple times. I've done Dark City. We just did Apocalypto. Jamie and I did a Mel Gibson podcast a while back. We did Apocalypto. I've not done Akira. I've had a million people recommend Akira and Neon Genesis Evangelion. We've done Shutter Island. I thought Strange Darling was retarded, but we did it. Remember they made Chris Pine into Jordan Peterson? Isn't that ridiculous? Like, he's the patriarchal villain in the mind of Hollywood. That was so stupid. And they literally said, remember when it came out and Olivia Wilde was literally saying she made the movie based on Jordan Peterson being the villain? That was so crazy. Yeah, Tristan and I did Fourth Kind. Yes. Jamie and I did Alien January, like 4 years ago. And we basically did all of the big Alien movies. And then Jamie and I did an entire series of all the dystopia movies. All of them. And we did all the dystopia movies chronologically. Isn't that crazy? So remember that meme that somebody made of, they listed all of the dystopia movies and the time frames chronologically? Jamie and I did that, and we did all of them. I think we did 26 movies. Some crazy number. I don't know. It's a lot. But I think we mentioned Fire in the Sky. I've done Mulholland Drive countless times. I have a whole mini documentary on Mulholland Drive. Mrs. Doubtfire. I hate Mrs. Doubtfire. I've always thought that was retarded. I've not done Blue Velvet, by the way. I don't like Fire in the Sky, but I think we mentioned it in our Alien January. So there is me and Tristan doing Fourth Kind. So let's see. These are, no, this is super old. Here's part of Alien January. Prometheus, E.T., War of the Worlds, Alien Madness. So you got to go back like 3 or 4 years for our Alien series. Are we never going to hit? Come on, man. Make me wait all night for 100. Oh yeah, The Thing is a classic. Yeah, we've done Fifth Element. I've talked about Only God Forgives. Did you know Nicholas Refn was on Alex back in the day? Yeah. After he made Only God Forgives, for some crazy reason, he went on Alex Jones. That was wild. In Bruges is good. Oculus. I've done Aeon Flux, by the way. Maybe we should review Oculus because there might be more going on that when it came. I remember watching when it came out. That was a pretty good horror movie. But I don't remember a lot of esoteric stuff. I mean, I know the mirror is owned by the British royalty and is cursed, but maybe there's more stuff that I missed in Oculus. Weird sheep movie. No, I don't want to do that. That's the movie we were making fun of with when we were making fun of A24 horror trailers. Like, that Lamb movie is the essence of that. You know, I've did Neon Demon, and I talked about Only God Forgives. A lot of people really like it. I'm not a huge fan of Refn, actually. Although I do want to watch what's the Miles Teller one that he did? Is it Too Old to Die Young? Is that good? Is that somebody was just typing that, weren't they? Yes, Too Old to Die Young. I remember when this came out, I heard all kinds of good things about it, and I thought it looked visually awesome. But I've not watched it. So do I need to watch this? Is this worth analyzing, you guys? I trust you guys, and I'm gonna write it down if you think it is. But I'll be honest with you. After Neon Demon and after Only God Forgives, his stuff is too gross. I mean, I do like Drive is awesome. I think everybody likes Drive. Melancholy. You know what? The first 10 minutes of it is amazing cinematography, and then it just turned retarded. Like, I thought Melancholy was just awful. We've done Snowpiercer a million times. Have I done Firefly and Serenity? No, we should do Firefly and Serenity. I have talked about City of Lost Children. I've watched it since it came out, since the 90s, but we haven't done analysis of it. Yes, I've done Lost Highway. Yep. I don't know about these, like, I did John Wick. Yep. I don't know about like Terrifier. I mean, is there anything going on in there other than demonic clown? I haven't watched it, but yes, we've done hacker movies, 90s hacker. I love that genre. So we did Johnny Mnemonic and Ghost in the Machine. Yeah, we did those. Fish Tank. Oh yeah, I've done Goonies for sure. I did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yep, those are all on my channel, by the way. I was gonna watch Spider with Hemsworth, but we haven't watched it yet. And it's in my list. I'm glad you mentioned that. You know what's funny? We wrote notes on all the Star Wars, and then we got busy, and we never did our Star Wars analysis. So we need to do that. I should probably do a Star Trek Next Generation one too. Yeah, I figured Terrifier is gross. I don't want it. Like, I don't like gross movies. I love a good horror movie. It's like a psychological thriller. I don't like gory movies at all. Yes, we did The Fly. I haven't done Synecdoche, but we did some other Charlie Kaufman stuff, I think. But I need to do that. Yeah, I've done The Cell. We did The Prestige. Absolutely. Lord of the Rings. I did an episode of my TV show on Lord of the Rings, so I kind of felt like we did it there. I meant to do Alien Romulus, and I forgot. Oh yeah, we've done X-Files multiple times. I'm a huge X-Files fan, for sure. We've done Under the Silver Lake twice. Don't be afraid of the dark. Yeah, I'm going to do Clarissa Explains It All. And then I'm going to do Saved by the Bell. And then I'm going to do Hey Dude. Remember, Hey Dude. Man of God. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I love the story, but the movie is hard to watch. It's just really poorly edited. But the story is obviously great. Yeah, we've done Devil's Advocate. Clerks, I don't know what to do. I mean, what do you analyze about Clerks other than to talk about like 90s Gen X culture maybe? Apostle could be good. Actually, Goosebumps with Jack Black, that one's all like Kabbalah. So that actually the modern Goosebumps, not the TV show, but that would be good. Yeah, we did Forbidden Planet. Jamie and I did. I've heard people talking about Conclave. Is it conspiratorial? I haven't seen it, so I don't know what exactly is going on in it. The Gate's a great 80s movie, for sure. Yep, we've done Apocalypse Now. Yep. Did anybody watch Urban Legend? Veggie Tales. Somebody already mentioned City Lost Children. I've done The Island. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Did anyone see The Conclave? Is it worth seeing or is it stupid? Did you watch The Shift from Angel Studios? No. I mean, I watched, what's the Caviezel Freedom movie? That was good. Ghoulies, we've done Ghoulies, yeah. The Ritual was good. Out of Darkness, yeah, I've done that, I think. I think we did that. Inland Island, what's that? Doing on the Leprechaun. The Leprechaun, give me the gold. I want to know where the gold at. Give me the gold. I want the gold. I'm going to uproot that tree. I want the gold. Give me the gold. I want to know where the gold at. Let's see the original. Remember this old classic? Forgot about this. Remember, this was one of the first ones where they made like the rap remix of a meme. I mean, you could count these as memes. Viral videos are kind of memes. I like the dude that's all suited up with with a bulletproof vest. He's going to go to battle that he wants the gold. Like, he says it 5 times, right? And this reminds me of the remix. Dude, this is old school memory. Remember this? This is bringing back memories, dude. This is like, this is the kind of, this is what you mess around with at work 18 years ago, dude. Remember this?
Me, I gotta do a look up in the tree. Who else in the love car say yeah? I wanna know what it goes. I wanna know what it goes. Give me the gold. I wanna know what it goes. I wanna know what it goes. Give me the gold. I wanna know what it goes. I wanna know what it goes. Give me the gold. I wanna know what it goes. I wanna know what it goes. Give me the gold. I want the gold. I want the gold. I want the gold. Give me the gold. I want 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 the gold. Give me the gold. I want the gold. I want the gold. I want the gold. Lip cut. I wanna know what it goes. I wanna know what it goes. Give me the gold. I wanna know what it goes. I wanna know what it goes. Give me the gold.
I want to know where the Bitcoin at. Give me the BTC. Give me the BTC. The whistles go woo woo. That's right. You know what? We should just have you know what? On the next live stream, we should have done this to celebrate. Tell you what we're going to do. Next live stream to celebrate, because hopefully we'll hit 100 by then. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do all of the old classic videos. We're going to do Star Wars Kid. We're going to redo Leprechaun. We're going to do Letarian. We're going to do, somebody just mentioned another one. What's the other one? Somebody just mentioned one. I'm forgetting it. Whistle tips. We'll do the woo woo whistle tips. Do y'all remember Letarian? Does anybody remember Letarian? Back it up, back it up, back it up. My daddy taught me good. Remember that? You know what's weird? Anytime somebody mentions backing up or put the car in reverse, I immediately start singing this stupid ass song from frickin' 15 years ago? 13 years ago. Remember Shmo Yoho? So Shmo Yoho basically burned themselves into everybody's memory. From like the internet generation's memory from 15 years ago. You know what I'm talking about? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? The only person did nobody watching this stuff on the internet 15 years ago? Do y'all remember this? Back it up, back it up, back it up. My daddy taught me good. Remember this?
White hoodie. And the guy with the black hoodie said, "We want your money, everybody up front and down." And I'm like, oh, why do I need coffee now? And so the guy in the black starts coming down, and I'm like, don't look, don't look, don't look. So I'm putting my hair down, you know, and he comes right to me and he goes, "Get down now." And I go, "Yes, sir." And I just drop to my knees, see my little knee. And then when I'm on my knees, I'm backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. Because my daddy taught me good, and I'm backing the hell out of there. And then when
like every one of her phrases and arguments are non sequiturs. Like, why? Because you're backing up. Would that have anything to do with your daddy teaching you good? I love that it's all non sequiturs. That makes it great.
I'm safe. I'm like counting to 2,000, and I don't hear nothing. Then I heard boom, 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 and I'm like, oh my God. So I back farther and farther away, and I think maybe I should faint, but I don't. And so then I'm thinking,
maybe I should faint, but I don't.
Again, so I did, and then I go, mi amigos, mi amigos. Nobody said nothing. I'm like, oh my God, they're dead. I'm like, I'm gonna have to find all my friends dead.
Anyway, back it up. You guys remember this? And then we can't forget one of the most famous of all of these. Antoine Dodson. 200 plus million views. Right?
Well, obviously we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's
And hide your husband because they raping everybody out here. You don't have to run, confess for you. We gon' find you. We gon' find you. So you can run and tell that. Run and tell that. Run and tell that. Homeboy, close off, homeboy. You are really dumb. For real. Anyway, classics. Hide your kids. Hide your children. Hide your wife. And hide your husbands. Because they raping everybody out here. Thank you guys so much. A lot of fun tonight. Next party stream if we hit 100K. Here we go. We're climbing back again. Making another run for 100. Can we get above 99.3? I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it this time. Hades. $10. You look like Steve from Blue's Clues. I don't know. I have no idea who that is or what that is. I mean, I know it's some kind of kids thing. Let's see what Steve looked like. You look like Steve Harvey. Your mama look like Steve Harvey. Steve from Blue's Clues with a shirt. Oh, damn, son. Which one of these is this Steve? Steve looks like a dork, dude. Ouch. Dr. Chillin. No, we already did that. Varela the Second, $5. For other religious symbolic films, what do you think about the 1998 movie Pi? 216 times 3 equals 66. 666. I remember watching Pi and even at that time, I realized, oh, this is out about, I didn't watch Pi in 1998. I watched it in the mid-2000s. And I remember thinking, oh, well, this is Kabbalah, right? So I probably watched it in like 2006. But I knew what Kabbalah, I didn't know much about it. I knew what Kabbalah was. I was like, oh, this is like, Hasidic number magic, whatever. It's interesting. The guy goes crazy, but I don't really, maybe I should go back and rewatch it because I haven't, we need to do a Darren Aronofsky stream, I guess, because he's one of the few directors that explicitly makes Kabbalah-based movies, right? The Fountain, Noah, Black Swan, Pi. I didn't watch Mother. I heard it was gross. What else has he done? I don't care for Requiem for a Dream. It's too gross, too dark. You can run and tell that, homeboy, homeboy. I know it's like pagan and reincarnation, but I thought The Fountain was pretty good just as a movie. A lot of junk over here. I've never seen The Wrestler. I don't know what that's about. Mickey Rourke. Marissa Tomei. I don't know. Wasn't it interesting that Mickey Rourke showed up in... Well, first of all, it was weird that he showed up in Van Damme's Double Team as the villain. I didn't expect that because I'd never seen Double Team, which I thought was awesome. It's ridiculous, but it's like awesome ridiculous. That was one of the funnest movies we did in the Van Damme stream. But it was odd that he was in the Orthodox Man of God movie, right? That was unexpected. But he was only in it for like 5 minutes. But I wonder if Mickey Rourke has had any interest in Orthodoxy. That'd be interesting to see. Noah was pretty weird. It was kind of like just Kabbalistic. tails. Anyway. We're going to remind you guys, too, head on over to show sponsor chalk.com. Of course, we have to mention that no broadcast would be complete without reminding you to up your toxic masculinity points by heading over to chalk.com and using the promo code J44Life. That's JAY44LIFE. It is a subscription service, but you do get a 44% off, and you can cancel at any time. But it gives you a regular access. You don't have to think about ordering it again. A regular incoming delivery of the best in supplementation, especially for dudes. If you're interested in optimal performance at the gym, working out and making those gains, you want to get the performance stack, dudes. Absolutely. There's also a female vitality stack, great for women, great for hormone imbalance, etc. Promo code again is J44Life, but you don't have to do the subscription. You can also test it out if you want to just get a bottle of this or that. I recommend the Tomcat Elite if you want to up your testosterone. For guys, use the promo code JAY40 to get 40% off a base purchase. So head on over to chalk.com. Remember to use those promo codes to get those discounts. Big Boss, $10. Honestly, thank you for being a consistent person. Am I? I mean, I try to be, but I'm in many ways not. But thank you for the compliment. Things have been wild for me over the years. It's good to know that there are people out there that are normal and overall human as God intended. Thank you. Appreciate that. I think, try to be normal. Kind of an eccentric person, but also try to be, in many ways, normal. Gandalf the Black, $5. A close friend is convinced of papal supremacy because Matthew 16 talks about the rock and Peter. Yeah, but none of that teaches Vatican I. So the question is not any of that stuff. It's what does it mean? And remember, the Roman Catholic has to defend that Matthew 16 is teaching Vatican I. So that's the challenge. These people, my friend disagrees with Orthodox study Bible, saying it's the confession. Yeah, but again, that doesn't even really matter whether it's Peter or the confession, etc. The majority of the church fathers, by the way, interpret it as the confession or as Peter and all the bishops being Peters, right? So every bishop is a Peter, according to Cyril. But aside from all that, remember that the burden of the proof, according to Vatican I and Leo XIII, that the Roman Catholic has to prove is that Vatican I is what was meant by Matthew 16. And if that's the case, why didn't the church operate according to Vatican I for the first 1,000 years? Why does it take until the 1800s for the church to define this? It's ridiculous on its face. Patrick, $10. I love your debate reviews. They help me understand high-level philosophy. I always understood metaphysics on some level, but I'm finally grasping meta-ethics lately. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. The debate reviews are a lot of fun, so it's good when there is a new debate. The thing is, there's not that many high-profile debates to analyze. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of rare. So it was enjoyable to have Peterson kind of step back into that classic Peterson era of these sort of sit-down debates like he did with Quantum Cream Pop, Dickie Dawkins here. This was fun. And this reminded me of, what we were doing like 4 or 5 years ago. Like 4 or 5 years ago, it seemed like there was just tons of debates to analyze. And a lot of them were Jordan Peterson discussions. But debates like that are kind of few and far between. Always respected, 5. Jay, my brother put me on your videos, and since then we've been huge fans. I want to ask you advice for the alt market. Stick to meat and potatoes, investing in BTC. Well, I can't give you financial advice. I'm pretty much am mainly just stacking Bitcoin. If I ever play around with a meme coin or something, and if I ever do that, it's very small amounts, because most of the time you're going to lose your money. So, you got to determine what your risk profile is. If you don't have money to risk, I wouldn't do it. It's just basically like going to the roulette table or gambling or something. Christopher Scott, $5. You're pretty normal most of the time. You're a goober sometimes. Oh. But we enjoy the content. Also, have you done the movie Nefarious? I liked Nefarious, kinda, but I also thought it was kind of... it could have been better. So, no, I haven't done that, but I'll think about it. Maybe we should do it. A lot of people like it, so maybe it is worth doing. Anonymous, $3. Did you watch Repo Man? I never did. That's the one with Jude Law. I have not seen that. Is it worth watching? Should I do it? Maybe I will. All right, thank you guys so much. A lot of fun tonight. Hopefully you enjoy. I do want, if you would leave me a comment down below if you saw Heretic, and let me know what your analysis of the final scene with the butterfly was supposed to mean. I'm interested to hear. Otherwise, like and share. Also, you can subscribe to the website, get access to the archives, subscribe to Jamie, and get access to her stuff as well. You can get the books in the